All right, so what we're going to do today in After Effects is I'm going to demo how to do one of your projects. And I'll demo an example of how I'd like you to do each one of the different projects that are available for you to turn in for your part of your grade. What we're going to do today is an example of a logo animation reveal project. And so we're going to take in stages and take you through the whole process of how I want you to go about setting up this type of an exercise. So this is what it's going to look like when it's done. Let me play it. There we are. There's our logo animation reveal. So this is an example. You don't have to, in the exercise, I want you to take the components that I've given you and I want you to follow along and do this exactly so that you understand conceptually how I want you to put something like this together. And then I want you to create your own logo animation reveal. And you don't have to be a logo designer. You can just download a logo from the internet. And so I made up a fake logo to use here in Illustrator and imported it. So we're going to start from scratch. First, we're going to do the setup. So I'm going to close this project and I'm going to click New Composition. I'm going to use a composition that's 1920 by 1080 at 29.97 frames per second. I'm going to click OK. Here's my comp. I'm going to import all of the materials. And these materials will be available to you so that you can follow along and do the exercise exactly the way I'm doing it now. File, import, file. So we're going to import the 4 photos and the logo. So it's a logo and 4 photos I took from Pexels, and we're going to click and import them. Okay. Before we get started, what we're going to do is we're going to click and choose a grid under grid here. We want to choose a grid, and I want to choose we'll use title action safe. All right, so I just want to have something on the screen that will help me line this up. So I'm going to grab the pen tool and I'm going to set the fill to none. I'm going to set the stroke to white, and I'm going to make the pixel dimensions about 10 pixels. And I just want to draw a straight line across using these guides here. And then I'm going to deselect that and draw another straight line from here to here with the pen tool. And then I'm going to grab the selection tool and take the ends out and drag it until it comes to the end of the composition. Hold down the shift key so that it constrains. And that's just to help us line up our art. And those are 2 shape layers, so we're going to animate those. So I'm going to say that's click into the layer, and this will be the horizontal line. And then I'm going to click into this layer, enter, and this will be the vertical line. Okay. So now I'm going to bring in the 4 photographs. I'll bring them in one at a time. So I'm going to start with the one of the teacher. I'm going to drag it down underneath the horizontal lines, and it's really big, so I'm going to open up the transform tools, and I'm going to scale it downwards, and I'm going to fit it up in the upper left-hand corner like so. So I want something like that. Now what I want to do is I'm going to mask it out. So with it still selected, I'm going to grab the rectangle tool, and I want to draw a mask over that region. And that's ready to go. So I'm going to label that. I'll just label it teacher. And then I'm going to close it, turn it off, collapse it, drag in the next photograph. I want the one of the mom and the child. And I'm going to scale that inwards as well with my transform tool, scale. Position it where I want it to go. I just want this in the upper right hand corner. I'm going to have to scale it out a little bit. And I want their faces like something like that. All right. So once again, I'm going to activate a mask with the layer selected. I grab the rectangle tool. I'm going to draw a mask. And I'm using that 10 pixel line to help me line everything up. So now I've gotten that set up. And I'm going to select that layer, hit enter, call this mom and child. So we just want to set everything up before we start the animation. Put everything in place and then animate backwards, right? Start where you want everything to be, and then animate everything onto the screen, off the screen, onto the screen, right? Now let's do, see how that looks. Now let's do the next one. Let's do the firefighter down in the lower right-hand corner. And what I'm going to do, once again, is scale it down. And position him in the lower right-hand corner. And let's let's make it a little bit bigger. Oops. Something like that, all right? Zoom out a little bit. And I'm going to mask this as well. So I grab my rectangle tool. I'm going to use the grid lines and the lines in the middle to help me line this up. And I've selected that layer, so I'm drawing a mask. I'm going to mask that out. Okay. And I'm going to label that fireman. Okay. I'm going to turn that off, close it. And the last one is our businessman. It's going to go down the lower left quadrant and grab, drag that down. And then, just like I had to do with the others, I'll scale them in. Go down to the scale, position, scale, something like that looks pretty good. So once again, I want to mask it. So I'm going to make sure the layer is selected. Grab my rectangle tool, draw my mask. Okay. So now I'm going to turn on those layers so you can see what it looks like when collapse everything. And I have this. Okay, so that's where the animation is going to start. Is I'm going to have each one of these photographs slide into place. Okay. Let's look at the next layer. The next element, which is going to go above the vertical line, is going to be a solid fill color. So I'm going to make sure the line isn't selected. I'm going to grab my rectangle tool. I'm going to change the fill to white. You can use a different color. I'm going to just go ahead and use white. I'm going to take the stroke off, and I'm going to make a box that goes over the whole document. Zoom out a little bit. And that's going to fade in when the logo and the taglines come in. So I'm going to turn that off. Actually, let's leave that on. And the next thing we're going to do is close that. Is we're going to position our logo and add in our text. So let's look at the logo. I'm going to grab the logo. I'm going to drag it down and place it on top of there. There's our logo. And then what I want to do is have it over on the right. So I want to figure out where I want it, and then I want to figure out what size I want it to be. I want to scale it up a little bit. And then I want to position it over to the right. All right, so we're not clicking the time, so we're animating this. We're just figuring out what size we want everything to be. So I want that to appear about right there. And now I'm going to add some lines of text. The lines of text with reliability, peace of mind, and affordability. So I'm going to grab my type tool. Each one of those are going to be animated separately. So I'm going to grab my type tool. I'm using the font Babas Nue. I've matched the color with the eyedropper. I've matched that blue. And let's zoom in a little bit. And I'm going to type reliability. Okay. I'm going to position that about right here. Now, I'm not happy where the logo is. I think I want to move the logo up a little bit. There we go. And then I'll move the text up a little bit. Now I'm going to copy that layer, select the layer, Command or Control D. And then I'm going to grab the move tool and move that text layer down, holding the shift key. And then I'm going to change it with the text tool to affordability. And then I'm going to copy that layer again, Command or Control D. Grab the move tool, move it down. And I'm going to change that to say peace of mind. And what I want to do is I want to align these pieces of text up. So I'm going to go to Align. I'm going to select all the layers of text. And I'm going to Oh, it didn't select this one. All right, let's stop here. We'll come back on the other side.